Welcome back to another All Things Marriage. We're your hosts, Crystal and Derek. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube if you're not on YouTube. Follow us on YouTube, subscribe, hit that bell notification so you can get all the new content that we have available. So today we're talking about boundaries within the family.
Cool beans.
We've talked about boundaries before on the channel, but I think it was more so within the couple, between the relationship.
Like not placing restrictions, limitations on like each other.
Right.
But so today is more so about familial structure.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Cool beans.
Right. So yeah, we're gonna, expand it a little bit, guys. We've talked about boundaries within our families, the family structure, how individuals are closer, or this relationship is strained, and why this relationship is the way it is. And it boils down to the family structure and the boundaries that we place within our relationships and within the family. So we want to, talk about that a little bit today.
What's the reason? Like, why is it important, really? Like, why is it even a topic of discussion, at least that we feel should be brought up and should be expounded upon?
Well, so many families don't understand that there should be boundaries. So many individuals, they have so much stress on them. They experience so much turmoil within the relationships because either there are boundaries that are set that are just ridiculous, or like shouldn't be a boundary.
Right.
From families, we can't talk about certain things.
Yeah, we don't talk about Bruno.
We don't talk about Bruno. Right. Or we can talk about this, and it's just like, no, we really shouldn't be talking about that. You know, or doing different things. It's just like, no, that's a boundary for me. You can't do that.
A lot of times the boundaries are way too strict and way too heavily enforced.
Yeah.
Or there's like no boundaries at all.
Right.
And
anything goes.
Everything goes. Everything's open.
Yeah.
And we kind of got to find like the happy medium.
You need to find a balance where the family can be stable, can be healthy. No, everything is not going to be 100% perfect. Right. We understand that different experiences, different things happen, that we put up boundaries, and it's just like, well, now I have to deal with those. So yes, the boundary is there to help me and protect me until I can come back to a homeostasis, like you said, until I can use my resiliency to deal with whatever just happened.
Right.
Boundaries help you be resilient.
Yeah.
We don't look at it that way. We think boundaries is you cut me off. But it helps me to be strong in areas and to be resilient when things do happen later on in life. I'm better resilient because I had a boundary up. Or there was a boundary that I could or couldn't do or say different things.
Solid. Okay, cool. So, Miss Counselor Extraordinaire.
Okay. Too much. Too much. Okay.
Let's see what, the technical like definition, meaning, explanation, whatever for boundaries.
Well, I wanted to give the dictionary, of course, Oxford, Oxford Languages.
Ooh,
thank you.
Oxford.
They say a boundary is a line that marks the limits of an area. Dividing is a dividing line. Okay. A limit of a subject or sphere of activity.
Right.
So it's sphere. The S's and the P's sometimes. My list comes and goes. Okay.
Sure.
It's probably always there. I just recognize it only at certain times. But yeah, so basically it marks an area to let you know this is off limits.
This is the break point.
This is a break point. If you go past that boundary, like you can go past the boundary, you could, but there are consequences for going across those boundaries.
And I'll say, before we continue with all the technical stuff, I'll say this in terms of like, this is the limit, this is the line. A lot of times we look at boundaries as being these heavy limiters that restrict you and this and then the third. But I would say, and from my understanding, from my experience, boundaries or limitations are actually what create freedom.
Yep.
Right? Because if you, and think of it in terms like of a child playing, if if you have no boundaries, then the amount of play that a child can have is very, very limited, because anything can hurt them.
Right.
Anything can endanger them. They could fall. They could do it. They could da-da-da-da-da. But then when you put up a boundary or a wall, a gate, whatever, and put all of their acceptable toys in there, now they have the freedom to do all the things that they want to do. So boundaries are actually what create freedom.
Right.
And you don't have to hover over the child and everything they're trying to do. You got to grab this, take that, yada, yada, yada. No. You say, this is the boundaries of play.
Right.
And whatever you see fit to do within this boundary of play, do it. You have ultimate freedom within this confine. Right. But if you take away the confine, now your play gets restricted. And I think that's kind of where we kind of have to start like looking at it in terms of you're either, you can't be fully free to all things in all ways at all times.
Right.
You're either free here and bound there, or free here and bound over there.
Yeah.
It's a give and take.
Right. And at every age, at every stage when we're growing and stuff, boundaries are reduced.
Right.
You have full access to here.
And I wouldn't even say reduced, but changed.
Right. They're changed. They're altered.
They're altered.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And we set boundaries, and we don't even know that we're setting boundaries.
Right.
Not just you got to get in the house before the street light come on.
Yeah.
Those are boundaries because we know them as rules.
Right.
However, we create boundaries when we, as a mother, we go on a play date or a girl spa day with our daughters.
Right.
We're creating boundaries that this is a safe relationship.
Yeah.
This is an activity that we do together.
Yeah.
And in some of those boundaries, at some point, and this is another reason why we're talking about this, it can leave other people excluded.
Yeah, 100%.
They could feel as though, well, mom took the girls out, but here me as the guy.
Yeah.
I don't have anything to do with mom. So it can create a relationship dynamic. That's the whole family structure.
Yeah.
It can create a family dynamic that you didn't necessarily mean to create.
Right.
However, you've created it. So just as much as you're intentional about creating those boundaries or those memories with the girls, you created with the boys. You may do something different.
Right.
You may not have a spa day, but we're going to go outside and we're going to play in the sticks.
Right.
Whatever that may look like.
which that reminds me of like an actual real life instance. Anybody who knows me knows I am like the hugest of Disney fans.
Right.
And specifically Lion King and that area or that era of Disney movies, what we call the Disney classics, right? And so Disney Broadway or whatever, like the play, Broadway play, whatever of Lion King was coming to Richmond,
right?
And so my mom bought tickets for her and all of my sisters. And they went, and I was just like, wait a minute, why am I not going?
Right.
But also, understanding that there's a boundary there of this is mom and daughters, this is the safe space, this is where we communicate, this is where we open up, this is where we talk. Right. And so, and you would think that just like, oh, that's unhealthy, why would you exclude?
Right.
But she was creating a not necessarily a exiling of me, but a safe open space for the girls.
Right.
And in turn, I then later bought tickets to go see wrestling because me and my dad huge wrestling fans.
Right.
To go see WWE or WWF.
Right.
But now when it came to Richmond and me and my dad went out and we had a guys' night going, and then again the whole family would sit around and watch wrestling, but me and my dad went to see so and create, and we had some great conversations like on the way there, and like it was just a really, really good time. So to your point, it was like that's kind of how it works. And
again, boundaries aren't bad. Now there are some boundaries that they're not necessarily bad. I wouldn't say they're bad. However, they have consequences, negative consequences, because consequences can be positive or negative. They have negative consequences where the family can become diffused, enmeshed, where it's just like enmeshed. You're just totally so involved.
Right.
With everything that's going on.
Everybody's doing all the time.
Right.
Yeah.
And diffuse is like, I don't let you know nothing.
Right.
I don't talk to you.
Right.
I don't have any quality time with you.
Yeah.
You know, we just So we have to be intentional. Right. It's funny because I just made a post that I'm going to be intentional on Facebook. However, that's neither here nor there. If you're friends with me on Facebook, you saw the status. Right. However, we're being intentional. We're trying to make sure that we're setting boundaries that are positive. Right. That lead to healthy adults. Right. Within, especially with the children, we're making sure that as the adult, we're having healthy boundaries within one another. Right. Yeah. We're adult children now. So we have living parents and other siblings that are adults and stuff like that. So now we have a different type of boundary that's set within the relationships of the family. Mm-hmm. And we've had to learn, some still learning, how to interact with one another as father, son, mother and daughter, mother and son, on both sides. And I'm seeing you as an adult. You're my child, but I have to see you as an adult now. Yeah. I have to change those boundaries. No, you don't disrespect me. However, I have to give you freedom to now voice your opinion in ways that I wouldn't have allowed you when you were a child. Or I allowed you to go and do different things as if, because you're an adult. Right. Versus when you were a kid, I wouldn't have allowed you to do that. Right. And it allows for freedom. Yeah. To grow and to develop, and then to bring back to the family, and strengthen those relationships. But boundaries are so important, and we're setting them, and we don't know them. We don't know that we're setting them, but we're setting them. And so we just have to realize everything I do, there's an equal and opposite.
Every action has an equal and opposite reaction.
Thank you, science, sir. And we have to realize that when we set those boundaries,
I forget whether that's like second or third law. I forget. But,
sorry. Don't ask me.
Sorry.
Anybody know?
Sorry.
We have to be very aware that we're setting those boundaries, and those boundaries will one day show up again. And we need them to show up in a positive way versus a negative way. Or destructive way. Yeah. And
we can go on that negative versus positive thing. Yeah. But let's, again, technical stuff, because I deterred us a little bit.
Oh, that's okay.
Sorry.
I mentioned diffuse boundaries earlier. They are excessively blurred and indistinctive, so easily intruded upon by other family members. Mm-hmm. So this is, it's kind of chaotic.
Right. And who is that from?
This is from Family Therapy and an overview of family therapy. And this is Irene Goldenberg, Mark Stanton, and Herbert Goldenberg. As you can see, I have my little notes. If you want to get the book. But yeah, so parents are too easily accessible. Sorry. And contact with their children may take the form of hovering and invasive of privacy. So this is diffused. So it's kind of like, it's kind of similar to enmeshment. However, it's kind of like child.
The response is.
It's kind of like the child like that. I'm an adult. Get back. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I would explain it. I would explain it this way, because personal experience. Mm-hmm. I feel as though, and this is not a shot at in any way, because I think my parents are amazing, right? But my parents were definitely pretty protective and pretty involved with like decision making and your individual personal choices, your schooling, all of these things, like very ingrained and very ingratiated in all the things. And my personality type was kind of like is kind of like more I can make decisions.
Mm-hmm.
I have a really good head on my shoulders.
Mm-hmm.
I know things, not in an arrogant way, but like I know things. Allow me to choose, and then we'll work through, right? And so for me, the closeness, we'll call it, serve to be like all right, you go ahead and do that. I'm gonna just stay over here, right? I'm gonna stay over here in my personal space, in my personal bubble, and just do what I'm gonna do, and we don't have to discuss it, because discussing it means like discussing it, and that's not, and that's not really like a me thing, right? And so I would say that I took on the diffusing response, whereas like some of my siblings definitely took on like the enmeshment.
No, I actually wouldn't agree with that.
Okay, well, fine.
Because diffuse is the hovering parent. You're and it's not, and hovering is the word that the book uses.
Right, yeah.
But they're very over involved. Still, they're there to rescue. They're there if you need help. Whereas the child would be like, okay, you're hovering. However, I know that I can get whatever I need to get out of you.
Sure.
So it doesn't create a self of independence in the child, because there's no need to.
Okay.
Every time I have a problem, you're there.
Sure.
You already know.
Sure.
Sure. The disengagement piece would be where the child is just like, yeah, even though you're trying to hover.
Right.
No, I can't tell you anything. Because I'm not even trying to tell you anything. I'm not going to tell you anything, because I'm responding to your hovering or your constant there. I don't need that. I don't really want that.
Okay, so it's contrary to my my first explanation. It sounds more like it's I just lost the word. I will think of it and get back with you.
Okay. And the comparison will be the enmeshment and the disengaged. However, the enmeshment piece is when
autonomy. It's a lack of autonomy.
Right. Okay. Autonomy, people, if you don't know, is my ability to choose for myself.
Yeah.
What I want to do, what I want to discover or study.
Automated, self-sustaining.
Right. In counseling, it's we have to give you not a level of autonomy. We have to give you your autonomy. We have to allow your autonomy. That means you choose whether you want counseling. You choose how you want counseling to go. If we suggest something for you to do, if you don't want to do it, you don't have to do it.
Yeah.
As well as you can say, well, I don't want to do counseling anymore. And I'll just say, okay, cool. Well, we're going to do some exiting counseling and refer you, and then let you be on your way.
Like, you don't know how many turns and flips my brain just did to get back to autonomy. Like, it was an entire battle going on up there.
I understand.
To grab autonomy back.
No, this is how I be with counseling. I'm like, oh, I read this. I know it.
Yeah, I know what I want.
It's somewhere in there.
Yeah, for sure.
Where is it?
For sure.
Where is it? Enmeshment versus disengagement. We talked about the disengagement piece.
Yeah.
Like, we doing what? Y'all doing what? Okay, I probably won't come.
Yeah.
That's for the people that say that they're introverts.
Yeah.
And it's just like, who all gonna be there? Never mind. But that's basically what that is.
Yeah.
Enmeshment is we're all just too involved.
Yeah.
You need to do this. And honestly, I love my family. Y'all know I love y'all. But I would take that we're enmeshed family.
Sure.
We are an enmeshed family. And I just be like, it's okay, guys.
And it sounds like it comes from the same place.
Yeah, it does.
It's the same. This is why I said my
connected.
initial.
I love you.
Yeah.
I want to know what's going on.
And this is why I said my initial explanation, my initial analysis was like, it's more so the response to the actions as opposed to the actions, because it sounds like it comes from the same place of wanting to be there, wanting to be involved, wanting to be engaged, wanting to make sure things are all right.
Want to be connected.
Yeah, and then the response or the outcome is either I'm distanced and distance or unable to perform on my own, or I'm so ingrained, and I'm so connected that all of the decision makings, all of the choices, all of the life happenings becomes group happenings. It's almost like a hive mind. No one can make a decision unless everyone's making the decision at the same time, the same way,
or agreeing or putting their input in, because no family is 100% enmeshed. No family is 100% disengaged or 100% diffused. But there are aspects of it where it's just like, whoo, that was for real. That was a lot. You was diffused a lot. You were enmeshed a lot. I'm gonna be disengaged a lot. But it's just realizing what works, what doesn't work, what allows every individual in the family structure to operate and to be autonomous, where they can stand on their own 2 feet. Yes, we help each other out. That's a family. That's how I was raised. We help each other out. When we can help each other out, we help each other out.
That's what's supposed to happen.
That's what's supposed to happen. That's why you're in the family. You know what I'm saying? That's what I teach you all that I can. I set boundaries for you so that you can be the healthy adult that you need to be. And that's emotionally, mentally, physically, financially, all of those things. So we have to take a step back sometimes and say, what kind of boundaries am I setting for our family and within our relationships? If I'm constantly doing for you, I'm not setting a good boundary, because I'm not allowing you to be able to stand on your own. And you have to be able to, in this world, you have to be able to stand on your own for at least majority of your life. You know what I'm saying? Nobody's going to give you handouts. You shouldn't want anybody to just give you handouts.
Even at the stage in life where we feel like you definitely can't stand on your own 2 feet, you can't make the decision, whatever, in childhood, and I'll even say early childhood, like elementary school level childhood, right? It's important to establish the parental boundary that, yes, I'm here to help. Yes, I'm here to aid you and to assist you and to guide you and to teach you and to instruct you. But also, you have to be able to make the decisions on your own. You have to be able to do things on your own, because what happens is oftentimes you'll have the child whose parents are just like, I just want to make sure my child succeeds. I want to give them the best chance, right? And so then homework assignment comes across and the child doesn't understand it, or they're not feeling their best this day or whatever, and then parent is just like, well, here's the answers, because I don't want you to fail this thing. I don't want you to feel the sadness or the whatever of failure, right? I don't want you to feel that. I don't want you to go through that, and I want you to be successful. So then you give the child the answers. And then the child comes back and they get their A or they get their whatever, but then now you created the boundary of, or the environment of, if I can't do this thing, if it's hard, if it's challenging, if I'm tired, if I don't feel like it, mom, dad, auntie, uncle, brother, sister, whoever, cousin will do it for me. And children are very intuitive and they're very intelligent. They may not make that distinction immediately, but after about the third or fourth time of that happening, they'll realize, I don't have to do my work. Someone else will do it.
Yeah.
And then fast forward to college, to high school, college, and they're the person in the friend group. They're the person in the group project that's just waiting for everyone to come to the table
put my name
with
on
all
it.
the answers, and they put their name on it. Like then you get to adulthood and you're outside of these protected areas, and you can't keep a job, or you can't stay out of trouble. All these things keep happening, and it's always someone else's fault because you were never. Right. It was never enforced, or the boundary was never put up that you have to do it yourself.
Yeah, yeah. And I want to add this piece. Disengaged.
Sorry, that was really long.
No, disengaged people. It was good though. Disengaged people are very autonomous. So it's kind of like a negative and a plus.
Yeah.
They're very autonomous. However, they have low family loyalty.
Sure. Okay. Okay.
And so what we want to, when we're setting boundaries, when we're being intentional about the relationships that we create with our families, and I'll say families because I don't want to say children, but within our families, we want to be aligned. We want to be aligned. We want to have the right amount of autonomy. We want to have the right amount of family loyalty. We want to have those boundaries set where, we just bought a new house, right? So we want to have it where we're aligned, where I have my autonomy at my house, and you can come over anytime you want to.
Yeah.
As long as you listen.
Oh, okay.
Let me finish. Let me finish. Because he was about to jump in on it. You can come over anytime you want to.
Right.
As long as you contact us and we have agreed that you can come over.
That it is a good time for you to come.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
okay, I'm with that.
We want to be aligned. So if we say, nah, tomorrow's not a good idea.
Right.
You don't just show up.
Yeah, because...
Even though you know I'm going to be at home. If I said it's not a good time. It's not a good time.
Because...
You know what I'm saying?
Because we've joked countless times amongst each other that I would be the one, if someone shows up unannounced, I would be the one to be in the house. My car is outside.
They both there.
You show up and ring the doorbell and just nothing happens.
And be standing in the window drinking my coffee. And we have two big windows in the front.
Two big old windows.
So you can see me and I can see you.
And you can see me see you.
Right.
And while realistically, I wouldn't just stare you down while you're not at the window knocking like, can I come in? And just like,
right.
No, I wouldn't do that.
Right.
But also, I would expect that there would be the level of respect to say, hey, is it okay if I come by? And I feel like based on our dynamic, that has been established. Whether or not like, and this is our first instance being in a house, like having our own place. It's not like an apartment, whatever.
We've had a few apartments.
We've had so many.
We've moved a lot.
A lot of moving. But I feel like that has been established, and that is healthy, and that is something that is well understood amongst our circle, not just our immediate families, but our circle, our friends, et cetera, et cetera.
I think a lot of our friends are the same way.
Yeah.
They're like, I mean, I love y'all. We like to hang out, but call me first.
And so you've mentioned a lot about setting boundaries, and it can be negative, or let's set boundaries that are positive, whatever. I want to discuss that just briefly. Because I feel as though one of the things that kind of gets us in trouble is that us being, people at large, that gets us in trouble, especially when it comes to setting boundaries with loved ones, is that we do tend to think of it as a negative thing. We do tend to think of it as, I want you to stay out of my business. And so it becomes like this negative stigma, has this negative connotation. Well, I would suggest, or I would like to implore the idea that it's not negative or positive, it's both. Because again, to the Newton's theories, every action has an equal and opposite reaction. And if we and if we apply that knowledge and if we apply that ruling, then that tells us that every time something happens, there is a force going this way and there's a force going that way, which means there's always something in the positive direction and always something in the negative direction. And so it is our responsibilities as people, as conscious beings, as those who are attempting to activate these boundaries or create these boundaries, or maybe even doing it subconsciously, to hone in on and focus our minds on what is the positive outcome of this thing. Let's not ignore the negative, but focus on what is the positive outcome and the positive reaction of the actions, right? And so, and to the whole point of setting that boundary of, or making it known that our relationship is our relationship. Our home is our home.
Right.
You're welcome to visit. You're welcome to give input or give advice. But understand that it is that and that alone. It is a visit. It's not a stay. It is advice.
Opinion.
It's it is advice. It is an opinion. It is not a fact, and that is not it is not a law, right? And so what that does is that keeps us happy and us healthy and connected with each other, while also keeping family happy and healthy and connected with us, because now I don't have animosity because you've come to my house. You said you was gonna come visit for the day, and it's 4 days later and you haven't left. I don't, like, we don't have animosity, or I'm not angry at Crystal's family because of something that Crystal shared with me, or something that someone said, or they're not angry with me because of something she shared with them concerning me, and now everybody giving me side eyes.
I'm glad you said that. This is very key in understanding boundaries.
Right.
You set the boundary.
You said it. It's totally on you.
If I don't want my family to look at you anyway, or to say anything about you, I know that I shouldn't tell them anything that'll give them wood
pause.
For their fire.
Right.
Because every family, and let's not just feel, my family would never.
Yeah.
If they love you and somebody's doing something to you that you don't like, that's causing you harm, and they can see that or know that, they gonna have a little fire burning, okay?
Yeah, 100%.
There is an emblem or
Ember.
Why can't I? Yes, because I was like, that's emblem is like a patch, a symbol.
That's a sigil.
That is not it, Crystal. But yes, they have an ember. See, I can't do it.
Where are you pointing at?
I'm pointing at the fireplace, guys.
What are you talking about?
Y'all can't see that, but I'm pointing at the fireplace. That's hilarious.
This fireplace is about
it's
60 feet away.
It's downstairs. Anyway, they will have an ember already.
Right.
Because you're somebody else coming in.
Yeah.
Let me see. Let me look at you now.
Right, yeah.
You come in and sit down?
Yeah.
Sit down. Like some of y'all told 2023, come in here and sit down.
Right. And to that point.
Yeah, you don't give them anything.
Yeah, and to that point, we've all had instances, right, where a family member, friend, whoever is in a relationship with a person, they have a spat, and then they come back and tell you all the details about the disagreement, argument, whatever they're having. And then they make up. But you still big mad. And every time you said don't make no sense. Mad. I told you should have left him a long time. Like, I told you should have left him a long time ago. Yeah. And it's just like, but they did it.
Right. Like, now, I know there is always two sides.
Again, equal and opposite.
Right. So if something happened and because you want to have the space, you want to have the ability to be able to confide in your family. Again, that's what family's for. When you need help, So if you have a safe space in your family where you can divulge that information and your family member not react to that, I feel like that's a good alignment.
React, not retaliate.
Right. That has a good alignment where they can come and say something to me about their spouse, because I've had it happen. Family members come to me, they say and they express and they feel, and I treat the other person like nothing happened.
Right.
Because my family member is willing to stay with them and bear through it and work through it, I got your back.
Right. Yeah.
If you're leaving and this is what's best for you and the situation for your safety, I got your back.
Right.
But if you staying, I got your back. Right. Either way, I got your back. Right. And I'm not going to treat that person any different, because I realize that for you to have a happy house, I don't need to say or do anything to this person that's going to make them treat you even worse.
Right.
Because I love you that much. That's a good alignment.
Right.
But if I know that I done seen how you act over there with Tisha now, and I ain't telling you nothing.
Right.
I have zero for you. Yeah. How you and Derek doing? We good, baby.
Yeah.
That boy, shy.
Yeah. Ain't said 2 words.
Ain't said 2 words. Because you've set a boundary.
Yeah.
That said, I can't trust you with it. I can't give you all of that.
I can't give all of that. With my information. So
and sorry I cut you off.
No, it's all good. We've said a lot of things.
Yeah.
So let's quick wrap up with we'll call it 30 seconds.
Okay.
Let's quick wrap up 30 seconds. How do you set healthy boundaries in a healthy way? Go.
Setting boundaries in a healthy way, sharing or expressing what it is that you need for you to be a happy individual. Expressing to other people what you need from them to be a healthy, happy individual, and asking them for that in return. Tell me what it is that you need to be happy and what you need from me. And then we're working towards making sure that we're giving that to each other. And you might say, how you do that with a child? But at a certain age, Caleb, our nephew, is 3. I can ask Caleb, do you need X, Y, and Z?
Right.
It's on their level. My nephew, our nephew, Deuce, he's 5.
Right.
He can explain to you what it is that he needs.
Right.
So you ask.
Right.
Give them options. Because in any relationship, and this is probably over 30 seconds, but any relationship...
A little bit. You're getting there.
Any relationship, if you don't give me the opportunity to choose a thing,
I'm going to inherently or choose the thing that you don't want me to choose.
Right. Like that, as well as you're going to set a negative boundary.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, baby, I'm out here for the streets. You want me or not?
Right.
And then I say, no, I don't want you. Okay, we gone, deuces. Right. But if you don't give me that option, and then I get in a relationship with you, feelings, and then you tell me or show me that you for the streets.
Right.
Now we have another problem.
Right. Okay. I would say set healthy boundaries in a healthy way. I know you ain't fitting the count.
Cause I
know you ain't fitting the count.
I'm playing, baby. Go ahead.
No, to set healthy boundaries in a healthy way.
Take your time.
I would say that you first have to take personal inventory of what it is that you need to be happy and healthy, and the way you need to interact with people to be happy and healthy, and then model that behavior.
Yep.
Even if the behavior is not reciprocated. You teach people how to deal with you or how to operate concerning you by operating in that fashion concerning them.
Yeah.
And so I'll say it this way: if you have a family that or a friend group, whatever, And we're saying family because we're talking about modeling with the family, right? Modeling behaviors with the family and setting boundaries with the family. And I'll use this as an example. I am a person who does not talk loud. I am a person that does not like or subscribe to anything unnecessary, right? If it's unnecessary, if it's extreme, if it's extra, I'm like, all right, enough is enough. Both of our families happen to be a collection of loud individuals. It's happy, it's cheerful, it's joyful, and I'm approaching my 30 seconds as well. It's happy, it's cheerful, it's joyful, but for me, that's a lot. And so when we get into group discussions and we get into,
disengaged,
we'll call it debates. But not debates in a negative way. But when we get into our discussion and everyone's like, I sit back, I sit back, I'm quiet, I'm silent, and I listen. Allow everyone to
you got to listen.
Allow everyone to say the things that they want to say.
Right.
And then when I have a thing that I want to express,
can I say something?
Right. And I'll say it in this type of tone. Raise my hand. So here's what I think.
Yeah.
And this is how I talk when I'm talking in the crowd of people. And it does a couple of things. It forces people to sit back and actually hear what you're saying. And then I have the leverage of saying, I have the leverage of, if then the interruptions and the rah-rahs begin to turn up, well, I listen to you guys talk. Allow me to finish my thought.
Yeah. And this has happened, especially with discussions with my family.
And so
my mother included.
And it obligates people to hear you.
Yeah.
And it also obligates the tone and the volume, the expressions to settle down.
Right.
And it pivots conversations. Right. So all that to say, learn how you need to communicate and then model the behavior.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's it.
So yeah, I hope y'all learned something. This is gonna help me with my learning as well. To keep the information in my brain.
Right.
So I'm glad that we were able to, come on and share that with you all. Hopefully you guys are taking inventory and thinking about your family relationships and the dynamics and the structures that you all have created, that your mother and father have created, and kind of seeing where you piece together where you are within the family, and how can we change the boundaries or alter the boundaries so that we can become more aligned in our family structures.
And maybe next time we'll continue the conversation with some areas of boundaries that some common areas of boundaries that can be set. Maybe we'll do that.
Yeah. So until next time, guys, again, if you're new, subscribe.
I was too fast.
Go. If you're new, subscribe, share this video, guys. Go on our channel and catch up on all the videos from the last 2 years. If you're new, again, be on the lookout for all of the information of events that we have coming out this year. We have a few things going on, and we cannot wait to share with you guys.
Right.
So until next time, bye.
There we go.